Chuck Shoe Podcast. Welcome and thanks for listening. My guest today is Jenny Zigrino. Hope I said that right. Hilarious comedian. You've seen her on Comedy Central, Conan O'Brien, Adam Devine's House Party. She even has a couple big movies that she's been in. 50 Shades of Black with Marlon Wayans and Bad Santa 2 with Billy Bob Thornton. She has big roles in those films. She also has a new movie coming out that's called Too Late with Fred Armisen. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about her family, the difference between a hipster and a seamster, body positivity, ghost hunting, and so much more. So check it out. Welcome, Jenny Zigrino, to the Chuck Shoe Podcast. How you doing?
Hi, good. How's it going?
Great. So let's talk about, you have kind of an interesting background. Dad was conservative Italian. Mom is a Russian. Is it Russian Orthodox?
Russian Jew.
Russian Jew. Is it Orthodox Jew though, or just what do you just?
No, Orthodox is a Christian.
Oh, why do I always get that?
Was Russian Orthodox.
I always I always screw that up. So tell me what that's like. That's kind of an interesting mix, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was interesting. We did both Christmas and Hanukkah, and
that's a lot of presents.
Yeah, a lot of presents, and and then having an immigrant mother, has its ups and downs. So it's it was an interesting mix.
What do you mean ups and downs? Tell me about some of the ups and downs.
Oh, immigrant moms, they're just rough. They're a rough bunch.
Like strict?
Do you have immigrant parents?
No. My parents are from, my grandpa was born in, or I don't know if he's 100% Irish. I don't think he was born there, but I think his parents probably were. So that's about as interesting as my life.
Immigrant as it gets.
Yeah. So, I mean, he had like the Irish traditions, but that's not really that exciting. Yours sounds way more like fun, like cool stuff going on and stories to tell.
Trauma's super fun. Family trauma is great. But parents who don't know who refuse to admit that they're wrong is a great thing to have.
But she actually grew up in Russia, so she probably appreciated being here a lot, right? Going like for what they had.
I mean, she does appreciate being here. We just got in a fight right before the podcast. Because she likes to send me a lot of YouTube grifters, as it were. So
grifters, like con artists?
Yeah, a lot of she's into QAnon. She loves
she's into QAnon.
She's a big Q fan.
I love the QAnon. It's so fascinating to me that like really smart people believe a lot of that stuff. And we always joke, my friends and I, like QAnon is 0 for whatever, like 500,000, whatever, however many predictions they've had, they've all been wrong.
Yeah. The 5D chess. Trump's playing 8D chess.
Yeah. The QAnon. It's like so fascinating to me. That's hilarious.
So she just sent me like a big grifter YouTuber that she wanted me to watch, and I watched it. You watch it and you're like, I watched it. I never need to talk about it.
Oh,
there goes a half an hour of my life, but she's very adamant that I need to watch more of them. So.
Don't you love that when people send you like a video like that? It's like homework to do, or an article to read.
Homework.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to change. I'm never, the same way I know she will never change. She'll never change.
So wait, so
I
then
just don't even talk about it.
So then both of your parents are conservative.
Yeah. They're both very conservative.
Interesting. So you grew up
not like social. I will say not socially conservative. Like there wasn't like I was always allowed to watch whatever I wanted.
Okay. Yeah.
I watched my dad and I would sit and watch Ren and Stimpy together.
Oh.
Like I had a lot of friends who like weren't allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy when they were growing up.
Ren and Stimpy? Is that bad?
Movies. Yeah, like have you rewatched Ren and Stimpy?
It's been a while.
I mean, there's one scene where like that dog stopped barking. No, it's not gonna stop. But like there's one episode where like Ren talks about how he's going to take his fist and like punch it through Stimpy and his cousin Sven, and like it's so graphic and so dark.
Okay, I have to rewatch that.
It's such a dark show. I love it.
That's awesome. So tell me about in 8th grade you moved to Boston because your parents were separated, right? So you went and lived with you kind of went back and forth.
Yeah. So I like in around like what was it, 8th grade? No, so first time I lived in Boston was 6th grade, and then I went back for 7th grade, and then I went back for 8th grade, and then Yeah, and then I went and spent every summer there, and then so I would like, all the holidays I would go there, summers, and then I was in Minnesota from was it 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and those
yeah.
yeah, and then
So
11th and 12th grade I went to an arts high school,
right.
and then I went to college in Massachusetts and lived there for like 4 years after.
Okay.
Once I graduated, maybe 2 or 3.
So when you're in Boston, are you at the part like in South Boston where the accents are heavy? Because that's the part I want to go to.
I was in Revere. Revere is also pretty heavy. So like my mom lived in this park called Revere. It's the end of the Blue Line. Very heavy accents over there.
That's a Midwest accent where your mom lived, though, right?
No. What are you talking about?
Did I have it backwards? Who lived in the Midwest?
My dad lived.
Oh, Dad lived in the and Mom. Okay, so then you got it. Okay, I had it backwards.
Yeah, so she was at the end of the Blue Line, and she lived there, right on Revere Beach. Kid, fucking, you go over there, you get your roast beef sandwich from your Kelly's. You love your Kelly's roast beef.
Yeah.
And then I lived in like Mission Hill, Jamaica Plain, Somerville. Yeah, those are the places I lived in Boston, and then in Boston when I was in college. I had a dream that I was in Boston yesterday or last night.
I want to go. I've never been there. I'm just fascinated I love Good Will Hunting, and I just love the accents, and it looks like a lot of fun.
It's a great place. I love history, so it was perfect for me.
Very cool with history.
I'm a big old, I would say, I think I'm a pretty old soul. What do you think you are?
Yeah, I think I'm an old soul. I think growing up in the 50s, I think that would have been fun with like the music and like everyone was like driving around and stuff. It was like, people had just gotten cars, so it was exciting and it seems like a happy time.
I mean, cars had been around for a while.
But that was like
cars had been around since the 1900s.
Well, yeah. But that was like the glory days of the driving in and the fast food.
You want to drive a boat down the road.
Like the convertibles and stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like Stand By Me. Is that 50s or 60s? Like Stand that era.
Stand By Me was 50s, yeah.
Yeah, that era.
You just want to drive a giant boat, convertible.
Yeah, yes.
I was watching Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
I love that show.
You did the Bridget Everett one. Did you see that episode?
I can't remember which one. Who is she? She a comedian?
Bridget Everett. She's a comedian / like burlesque cabaret performer.
Oh,
she's very funny.
Okay.
And oddly enough, they went to this coffee shop in New Jersey called Angelique's that I used to go to all the time, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But his car that he chose is huge red convertible Cadillac.
Nice.
And it was so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the kind of car that I would get.
Yeah. Did you see the one with Norm Macdonald where they he is hilarious.
No.
Oh god. I love how he picks like these really obscure like rant, and sometimes the cars break down in the middle of the episodes. Like, I don't know. I think that might have been one of them. But let's get back to you. So then you go back to Minnesota, and like you said, you went to this art school, and I'm trying to paint a picture. I was like getting all this information. So you're into comic books, you do painting and drawing, you're goth, but you're happy. You're into Corn and Limp Bizkit. You're taking choir and guitar lessons. Like, this just sounds like
so much research.
Oh yeah, I did so much.
What did you listen to and read?
Everything. So I'm just trying to paint a picture of all this together. Were these like different phases that you went through, and then?
Yeah, doesn't everyone go through like different phases? I went through the goth phase. I went through emo, where I was like I really wanted to be like a seamster hipster really bad. Like I was hipster adjacent.
Explain the seamster. I had never heard this before.
Okay, so seamster is different than hipster. Hipster is like what's kind of like you could be also older, and you were into like more. It was more indie and more like Weezer was a hipster.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like it was more indie,
like nerd rock.
It was more nerdy. Like I'm trying to think about other things that would be like the hipster. Like Elliott Smith is the hipster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Scenesters was like you listen to like
do you say like AFI or something?
Hairstyle that was like AFI. You had like the very pronounced bangs, a white belt. You were more like it was like a weird kind of goth emo
hipster.
hipster vibe.
Combined. Okay. Interesting.
But it was more like intense, and I feel like the music was more like My Chemical Romance. It was more like Atreyu.
Is there pictures of you like with this look? I wanna, that would be fun to see.
No, because I was hipster adjacent. So I was like always kind of in a weird trying to be hipster, but also like I was also plus size, and hipster fashion at the time was not like a friendly plus size fashion. It was much more like I did a lot of like pin-up 1950s, 1940s historic clothing.
Okay.
That tended to be more plus size friendly, but like, you know, it took me a while to get into skinny jeans, to be like comfortable enough to wear skinny jeans with my body and who I was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wore like layered shirts. I didn't get a jean jacket till I was like in college. I had like Chucks. I wore skinny jeans. But I also like, I think I kind of just did like a lot of thrift store stuff, because I wish that I could go back in time and have the confidence that I have now to kind of wear more crazy outfits.
Yeah.
Also, too, I miss going out and wearing crazy outfits.
Yeah, you've definitely got some. Well, we'll get into some crazy outfits like the ones you wore in the 50 Shades of Black, because that'll be fun to talk about that. But
thank you.
Yeah, back to the. So when you were 17, this was interesting that your mom's conservative, or somebody sent you to, or I don't know, did your parents know you were seeing a sex therapist when you were like 17? Was it a sex therapist?
My dad sent me to one. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So he sent you to a sex therapist, and then the sex therapist prescribed you Ambien. Did you tweet anything racist while you were taking the Ambien?
No, I didn't. I didn't do that.
That's good.
But I did. My dresser did try to attack me, and
you hallucinated?
Would talk to me.
Wow. Yeah. From Ambien.
Yeah, and I would like go upstairs and talk to my dad, and I didn't remember like going upstairs, and I would see like ants on the wall, and he'd be like, Jesus Christ.
That's some scary stuff. My dad took Ambien too, and he said the same thing. He goes, I've never been like crazy and hallucinating. He's like, but now I know what it's like to go through that. Yeah. Like, that's some scary stuff.
Then I would just stay up and like hallucinate because it was fun. But the amnesia part wasn't the great part.
Oh, because you don't remember.
Now I just do mushrooms, so it's fine. Like I just hallucinate for like whenever I want.
And that's safer.
Yeah,
it's natural, right?
Because you remember it.
Yeah.
And, Ambien, you didn't remember what you were doing.
Because are you kind of like in a half sleep, half awake state? Oh, crazy.
Like I thought the first time it happened, I woke up, I thought I was dreaming. My lamp like slid down. I remember the lamp slid down the desk and everything was moving in the room. And then I looked in the hallway, and the Beatles poster I had, the Beatles had jumped out of the poster and were trying to push the box away from the poster. It was so intense. I was just like, what is this? I must be dreaming. And I wasn't. I just had woken up.
That is crazy. How is that stuff still? Is it still on the market?
Of course it is. All that shit's still illegal.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I mean, I went to see her because I had this very irrational fear of men. Nothing happened. She was convinced something happened. Nothing happened. I just hated myself so much. I had such low self-esteem at the time that men and boys scared me, because I was like, they're gonna say that I'm that they don't like me. So I internalized all that. As an adult now, looking back, I can be like, oh yeah, that's why.
Right. Yeah.
When you're 17, you're like, oh no. So I went and saw her, and then she just put me on all these crazy pills. And I'm on crazy pills now, but I'm an adult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So it's probably, and it's not Ambien, so it's probably something a little more stable. But so let's talk about you getting into comedy. So you're into like Mel Brooks and Monty Python, Peter Sellers, and then for comedians, I heard Paula Poundstone, Sinbad, and Richard Pryor. Was it harder to find female comics back then when you were young, growing up?
Yeah, I remember like staying up when I was a kid. Like I would watch the very early Comedy Central, and they always had on the Sinbad special, which I loved. And then they had the Paula Poundstone special. They would rerun Monty Python all the time. I got into Peter Sellers later, kind of my own volition. But you know, I remember watching just like what's his name? Tons of like these comedians that are super famous now, like Sarah Silverman.
Oh yeah.
Jon Stewart. I remember watching one of his like, you know, where it was like there was like 5-minute specials where they weren't really doing anything.
Sure.
And just being like maybe like 6 or 7 and watching those and being like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. So you did it, and you started doing it at 15, which, I mean, you were just saying that how you're kind of like insecure as a kid and all this, but you were able to go up on stage I couldn't imagine doing that at 15, 16 years old and you're talking about sex and politics and things. And
well, no, they wouldn't let me.
Oh, they wouldn't let you do that.
No, even my comedy teacher was like, you're 15, you can't talk about that stuff. It's too awkward for everybody. We know that you think about it, but no one can know that you think about it. Which I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
So then you had to change your material, but you were still doing comedy.
It was very clean in the beginning, and then it didn't pan out that way.
Sure. Well, that's how it always goes. Yeah, everyone starts out clean. And then
what's your sweatshirt? Does it say Beverly Hills?
No, it says let's see, Beverly Kills.
What
it's
is
like
that?
I don't know. It's like the cool like rocker brand. I bought it because all the cool rocker guys, like Johnny Depp wears it, and like all the guy from Disturbed and all the rocker guys wear it. So I try to be like them. I guess I'm going through a phase myself. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool sweatshirt. But yeah, so you're doing the stand up, and then tell me about this. You did a burlesque comedy improv group, or like how does that?
I used to host Burlesque.
But is it comedy also, or it's a burlesque troupe?
I would do comedy, so I would just like make fun, but like a lot of the burlesque was very comedy based.
So you're not doing, because I was picturing like you doing like sketches and like pasties and stuff.
No. Okay. I was hosting it.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's really cool. And so you grinded for a long time. Like so tell me about those years before we get into the movies and the TV and the stand-up specials. Like how long were you doing stand-up, and like, did you have to do other jobs on the side, or?
Yeah, my brother hired me to work at his business, which was really great because I could just kind of leave when I needed to. And you know, it was just like I did like little odd jobs. I worked at the Freedom Trail in Boston. But yeah, I mean, it's like it's weird. It's when you have nothing, grinding is much easier. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, I'm just trying to get anything. So you're just grinding and like excited. And then like now the idea of grinding feels very like, ugh.
Because you were hungry to get something.
Like back then it was just like, yeah, I'll do anything. I'll do a job. I'll perform at a night's club out of, Elks Lodge. Let's do it.
And so where were you doing those years before you moved to LA? Where were you doing this back in Boston, or was this in Minnesota?
Boston, and then I moved to New York City for a year, and then I moved to Los Angeles. Oh,
so New York. So how often can you do, because I've heard people talk about doing stand-up there, like you could do it every night, like multiple times a night if you run around. Did you do that?
You can't do it anymore.
No. Well, yeah.
Like I would do like 3 or 4 sets a night. I mean, in LA, if you do 3 sets a night, you're like a champion.
It's harder there because you can't go from place to place as easy, right?
Yeah, it's harder.
Okay, so then 2015, that was was Conan O'Brien, was that like the biggest thing that you had made up until that point? I mean, is that point where you kind of felt like you had made it?
Well, actually, I was in a reality show, the Marlon Wayans, The Funniest Wins, in 2014. And after that, it was still big. It was still like a big thing, but yeah, getting Conan really felt like, okay, I'm not competing, because Funniest Wins was a competition show.
Oh, okay.
I'm not competing. I've been chosen of my own talent to do this.
Yeah. So tell me about, were you nervous to get up there, or was it just like, it's just like any other gig, or?
It just was any other gig, but they give you hair and makeup, which is nice. I wish I had chosen a different outfit, but what are you going to do? But it was just like fun. And then like Conan was laughing, which was great. Like you could see him laughing.
Oh, that's cool.
My friends were telling me he was laughing. And it's been great. It's been like really, I couldn't have chosen like a better group to be affiliated with, like the whole Conan world.
Love that. And then you also got to do Adam Ruins Everything. I love that show. And I couldn't find the whole episode, but I saw like a clip that you had on like your Instagram. Then was that the whole thing of your part, or was there more to it?
I had a pretty small role, but like basically it was a good episode about weight loss and weight stigma, and like how the weight loss industry is bullshit, which is something that I talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like just the most perfect casting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to try to find that episode then. So it's the one about because I think you can watch all that stuff streaming. Probably. Now, and you performed with Arsenio Hall, Kevin Nealon. What other comedians have you worked with that you were like kind of blown away? You ever get starstruck by the other comedians you work with?
A couple times. I think Sarah Silverman I was starstruck with once. One time I went on before Wanda Sykes, and I killed.
Nice.
Like, she's gonna tell me how great a job I did. She did not. She just walked away. But I was like, whatever, I killed. So that was really cool to like follow or to work not with her, but on the same stage.
Are these like with these two, with Sarah Silverman and Wanda? Was this like you were the feature, or was this just like kind of like a random open mic where they
random shows? Trying to think. The best one I think was I did a show here in LA, and Bill Burr dropped by, and I went on just before Bill Burr.
Wow.
And I'm a huge Bill Burr fan.
Yes,
I love Bill Burr.
Me too.
And after my set, he basically came up to me and like was like, "Oh my God, you were so funny. I've never heard anyone get a laugh on a tuberculosis joke." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then even the next day, he like messaged me and was like, "I just want to tell you that like I thought you were so funny, and my friends were all laughing." And I was just like, "Oh my God, yeah!" It's my phone background so that I remember.
Oh, that's
so that
super
I remember
cool.
that like I'm funny. That Bill Burr thinks I'm funny. So
yeah, that's a huge compliment.
Occasionally,
for sure.
He likes my stuff on Instagram. Not a big
So he follows you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool. And then, so your album, you had the comedy album 2017. I love the name Jay-Z's new album. Like, it's funny because like you've been back on Conan and you were promoting that. I think it was when you had that album, and even he laughed at reading the name of that album.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
I think he fake laughed, but that's okay.
You think so?
Maybe a little bit.
Oh yeah, because it does make you wonder because like
he laughed at my set, so that's
no, that's very cool. Well, and then you have a new. Are you gonna do a new album, or is that your latest? That's your latest one.
I was supposed to. April, I was going to shoot a new album, a new hour, but
they're gonna.
What you gonna do?
You gonna push it back then, or just waiting until everything?
There's nowhere to perform right now. I can't perform any place.
Can you schedule it though for like next April, or because that's what a lot of the concerts are doing?
My friends and I decided April we were going to do something this April, like film a special and try to sell that.
Okay.
Which I think is right now the only real way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we'll try to get that done hopefully soon.
Okay. Well, yeah, that'd be cool. I like the so the latest set, this is how I found you, was the your Comedy Central set, because you do the Comedy Central has like Comedy Central Presents, I think it is, like the YouTube. And so you're featured on that one, which is, you're in a lot good company with that one, but it's I love that set because I looked at your old stuff too, and I like your old stuff, but that set, I feel like, do you feel like that set kind of like there's like a step that you took forward with that one?
I think that like it's like these are all like just big milestones that you have. So it was like a big milestone, and then it was a nice time to like retire some of that material. I do some of that material on college gigs because it's cleaner, but I'm talking on my club sets, I'm doing more serious jokes. But yeah, it's just like, it's like good, it's out of the way, and now I have to write a new hour. And so I'm like pretty much at the new hour, but unfortunately, like,
right. Yeah, that whole thing. Right now. Well, I love that it was like self-deprecating. I think that's my favorite kind of humor. There was definitely like some self-deprecating humor in that set. Like you make fun of yourself. It's like, do you feel like you're more confident now that you are able to do that?
Maybe. I don't know. It's been so long. I don't know.
When was the last time you performed?
So actually, I was able to do a corporate gig last week. I did it, and it was like, done very safe indoors. It was broadcasted, so it was like I was in a studio and it was broadcasted to the team, and it felt weird. It just felt very weird, and like I didn't really remember jokes as
Really?
much. Like I didn't. Yeah, like so funny is like I was listening to my old set. My set from so on March 13th, I was booked at a club in Sacramento, or no, Sunnyvale, and I recorded that set, and then the owner was like, "You have to go home. We're under lockdown." And I said, "Okay, I guess we'll reschedule for a month from now."
Because that's a date.
I never rescheduled.
Yeah.
But like I was listening to it and I was like, man, I don't remember those jokes. I forgot I did those jokes. And there's so many jokes that I forgot that I just haven't done. Cause like even in quarantine, when I've done Zoom shows, I'm doing kind of the same, like maybe 15 minutes. And most of it's just like weird talking where there's not even jokes. I'm just trying to figure stuff out.
Right. Yeah, it definitely throws your rhythm off because you're used to performing on a regular basis, and now that's harder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the in your Comedy Central set? You had that thing where you talk about the people, guys bringing the cheese plate to the party, and they're going to be knee deep in puss. That is
Don't
just
you
the
love cheese?
What?
Don't you love cheese?
Yes, I do. No, I love that phrase. Like made me laugh so hard. And I was like, how did you come up with that? And is there like deleted scenes from that where you're like, what about this? And what about like, did you think of other things? Like, how did you settle?
I think because you know why? Because why it's funny, and this is
It's hilarious.
I think about the reason of like why stuff's funny. Why it's funny is you have a juxtaposition of two things. You have juxtaposition of a cheese plate charcuterie board, right? Which is like high class, classy. We love a charcuterie board. It means so many whatever. Then you have the phrase "knee deep in puss," which is like slang. It's lower class. Yeah. It's like very out of place to have a charcuterie board and say knee deep in puss.
Right.
So those two contradicting thoughts is what creates the dissonance in our brains to laugh. So that's why I chose knee deep in puss versus saying something like all the women are going to be after you, or like whatever clean thing, because you need to make the
you need to make it
as
dirty,
big as possible.
Yeah. But was there other sayings or phrases that you thought of did you make a list? Don't comedians do that? Make a list sometimes of those kinds of things, and then, or was that just the first one that came to you?
No, I think knee deep in puss just was the one that
brilliant.
I was like, it came very easily. Love it. And I was like, oh, that's it.
It's awesome. And then the other one I love is the thing that you came up with. Well, so it's your old podcast. Your old podcast was called "The Filling Is Mutual." That's clever too.
Yeah, well, that was actually Jen's idea.
Okay,
that was her show. We did it on IFC. We had a short-lived little web series on IFC called "The Filling Is Mutual."
That's a good one.
We cooked. Yeah, it was really fun. And sometimes like stuff just falls through where it's like it's not advertised well enough, or like you can't find a good sponsor for it, so it just didn't end up picking up. And then we tried doing it, and then we kind of both just got busy, and then my new one, Gaudy Positive, we're both like in flux, so we're trying to figure out what to do with that one.
Okay, gotcha. So then, let's talk about some of the movies and TV stuff that you did. 50 Shades of Black. We just watched. We just watched that the other day, and I'm sometimes like I'm interviewing a comedian and try to watch some of their movies or TV, and it's like a small part. You had a pretty big part in this movie.
Yeah.
For like this, was this your first acting role?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my first like feature film. Yeah.
And so they made you do a lot of crazy. Had a lot of like interesting outfits and hairstyles and costumes. Like, did you look at those and be like, because you said you had body image issues. Was it hard to wear that kind of stuff, or was it like fun?
It's fun. I mean, because you're playing a character, it's kind of, and I also know the humor comes from the outfits. So it's easier that way versus like I'm trying to be sexy, because I'm not trying to be. It's, it's like I know the limits of this and the humor in this. So it was easier to do, I guess is the best way to put it.
Did you get a lot of weird guys like reaching out to you after that movie? Like,
yeah, I mean, I still do. I can tell you right now, I know that Bad Santa 2's airing because I'm getting a lot of new Instagram followers.
Oh, so that's good. It's a good thing though. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then a lot of messages of like, I just saw you in Bad Santa 2. Oh, wow, you fucking rocked. I would take you in the bathroom. Yeah, like creepy shit, but whatever.
Yes, but no, tell me about that one though. That's really cool. Because again, it wasn't just like a cameo. I mean, you were like his kind of girlfriend or something, right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while. And I couldn't
I
find
wasn't his
it.
girlfriend. I was like kind of a love interest.
Love interest. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have one. I actually have a movie coming out next year.
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. That is another like supporting lead. Where I play like the best friend to the main character, and
Fred Armisen's in it, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be in it. It's gonna be really good. It's really fun. It's a
and the girl
script.
from Chloe from 24, or I guess she's also Gail the Snail, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. People watch that.
Mm-hmm.
But so this was smart on the Bad Santa too. I heard you say that you were trying to learn from watching and working with these big stars like Billy Bob Thornton and Kathy Bates. Like even on the sets or the scenes that you were not in, you would go and like watch their stuff. So what did you learn from watching them?
Like I talked a little bit to Billy Bob about like how, because Billy Bob is a writer.
Mm-hmm.
He's
that's right, and director.
He's a writer director, and he's really good at it. And I asked him questions about like what his process is, like how he writes. And I learned a couple things from him, and it was just good to like just be on set and watch, I wish I could have been more on set. I felt weird. Like just being in the shadows the whole time, but
are you allowed to? Is there certain things you're not allowed to be like, no, you need to leave? Or is like, you have like an all access pass? Or, I mean, it seems like a cool.
I mean, you can just kind of come on set as you want, unless they're doing a closed set.
Okay.
So like if there's a sex scene or something, that'd be a closed set.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But, I mean, I really wish, especially now, I could be on more sets, because eventually I would like to move into the more background.
Yeah. Because aren't you writing something?
Yeah, I'm writing stuff all the time.
Are you writing stuff all the time?
Then
okay.
I finish it is the real thing.
Oh, well, that's the hard part for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a writing partner, or do you just write by yourself?
I write by myself. I tried using writing partners. I don't play well with others. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
Okay,
so.
Gotcha. Yeah, sometimes it's easier too, and then you don't have to worry about other people's schedules and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about in terms of like movies and TV that you're a fan? I know you're a big like fan of Schitt's Creek. Is there other movies or TV shows that you are a big fan of right now?
I'm currently right now just started The Crown, so I'm still on the first season of The Crown.
That's the one about the British
Queen.
royal family and stuff. Yeah, I think my girlfriend's
excellent.
into that. Yeah, it's really good.
Love paranormal shows. Just finished watching a lot of Dead Files. Watch Ghost Adventures all the time. I love dumb paranormal shows. They're the best.
What is it about you? Because I had a friend that was really into that too, but he said he's like, oh, I don't believe in ghosts. It's really cool to see the history.
I like the history,
Yeah.
but they're also they're just funny. They're just so dumb.
Really?
Like the Dead Files is hilarious. It's like a retired detective. Like he asks the dumbest questions. Like,
so you kind of hate watching.
People are being like, they're like, I'm being haunted, and I wake up and it feels like I'm being choked. And he's like, who's choking you? And it's like, the ghost, you idiot. Why are you asking that dumb question? No, I just love the concept of ghosts. I'm pretty sure my apartment's haunted. But people will tell you I'm crazy.
What makes you think it's haunted?
When I first moved here, it was like lights would go on that I had turned off, and I would enter the room and they were on. Lupe, my dog, would bark at like a room, like not really like barking at anything, just like kind of barking at stuff.
Do you ever do like those ghost tours? Like, do you ever go somewhere that's haunted? Or
I would,
yeah,
but I'm scared.
I went to one in Tombstone, Arizona at the Birdcage Theater. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted places, and they turned the lights out for like 15 minutes. It's kind of scary.
Anything?
No, but like it was weird. There was this part I walked by, and they told us before you might smell things, and it smelled like cigarette smoke, but nobody was smoking. Oh. So it was very strange, but that was about the weirdest thing I saw or smelled, I guess.
Yeah. That you saw or smelled.
Yeah. I didn't see or didn't hear anything either, but they did smell the cigarette. But I mean, it could have been someone outside an event. I don't know. Sometimes I think that stuff's like kind of in people's heads a little bit.
I mean, they're definitely like, I definitely have scared myself because I thought that there were ghosts in here. And like my room, so I keep my window open because I like it, but the sound reflects. It sounds like when I'm in the bed, the way the sound is reflecting, it sounds like it's coming from outside my room.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So it terrifies the shit out of me. If there's like footsteps outside, I
Yeah.
think I hear them inside my house.
That is, and you live alone, just with your dog?
Yeah, I live alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always
But
makes things.
she's my barometer of like whether or not a ghost is in the room. Or she's too stupid. Right, Lupe? She might be too dumb. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, animals can, well, can't they see things, and they can definitely smell things that we can't. They have a better sense of smell.
Ghosts? Oh,
No,
dogs.
dogs, right?
Yeah. I mean, do ghosts smell?
I don't know. Like, I don't know any. My dad wrote this whole book on what happens when people die. Like, he's done research for like his whole life on this. I haven't finished the book, but I'm curious to get to that part.
What
Like,
does he say? What happened?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that part yet, so I'm interested to hear what happens like when you die.
Wait,
like,
can't you? Your dad wrote it, right?
Yeah.
Can he just tell you?
Well, no, I don't want to spoil the ending. I want to read the whole
just
thing.
tell me. This is what I think. I believe in reincarnation. I think that we die and we can like hang around and like pop in and out. Like I believe that like sometimes your family can like come and visit or like depending on how they pass. I think that some people get stuck, right? Like some people get stuck in like their death state or like how they died and they can't like come to terms that they've died. And I also believe that Mitch McConnell's a demon. Demon. And I believe that there is like that there is inherent evil and there is good, and I think that sometimes those evil spirits can show up, but I don't necessarily say it's like the devil or. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, that's kind of what my dad's book is like. It's like, I don't know, I haven't got to, like I said, I haven't finished it, but it's just that there may be something out that we don't understand. And he talks about, this one part was really interesting where people take drugs, and he's saying that like maybe our brain, where our brains work is like a filter. And when you take the drugs, it like takes the filter off. So like sometimes you maybe take the drugs and like you're seeing something that has always been there. You're just taking the filter off. It's kind of an interesting way to think of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love taking mushrooms and like expanding.
So what is it? You take mushrooms, and I have a buddy that does the same thing. He watches the movie Cats every time he takes an edible. What is it about that movie Cats?
Do mushrooms and watch Cats. I highly recommend it.
What is it about?
Because we were in the movie theater. We were seeing Star Wars. I couldn't stop laughing, so I had to leave, and so I went to go see Cats. Because I kept seeing Adam Driver, and I was like, he's in Girls.
Yes.
Doesn't anyone know that he's in Girls?
He can't be
I couldn't take
Darth
him seriously.
Vader. Yeah, no, he can't be a
I couldn't
villain.
take him seriously.
Yeah, and he's so weird in that show.
He looked, and then of course his face was like melting, doing all this crazy shit. So I was just like, this is so weird. Does no one else see how weird this is? So I couldn't concentrate on the movie. It was just so fucking. And then the ghost of what's her face showed up, and I was like, oh, I'm out.
Carrie Fisher.
So. Yeah, Carrie Fisher. So then I went and watched Cats, which was much more enjoyable when you're on mushrooms.
Yeah,
but
that's what I've heard.
What I do, and I haven't done it in a while. I did like a few weeks ago. I went to Joshua Tree to try to like trip and like have a kind of like an awakening. And sometimes you just don't. Sometimes maybe you just don't actually need an awakening. But like, you know, like sometimes you just it can help you like build new neural pathways and that people aren't able to by themselves. And it is really good for depression.
Well, they say that there's actual research with veterans and PTSD and mushrooms. It's really interesting that they're actually doing these studies and stuff now. So I think they've legalized it in some states.
Oregon, I think legalized.
Well, everything's legal in Oregon. I think you can do heroin.
Like I am very for legalizing everything, but also having regulations. So something like opioids, like of course we need regulation on that, 100%. But like have mushrooms, but have regulation on it. Like we have weed stores now. Like we could be getting so much money from people who just want to have fun and go do drugs. Let's do it.
But doesn't it cost us more on the back end when those people get all, I mean, if they're doing heroin, I don't know that you could like safely do heroin. I mean, that I've seen. I talk to a lot of people.
I mean, look, you have people who are alcoholics, right?
Yeah.
I like for heroin, I'm like, I don't know if you actually can safely do heroin
responsibly.
But maybe it's like you look at the reason why are they doing heroin, right? Like why are people doing something like heroin? Oh, you know, you look at the places like Ohio and the Midwest and the Appalachians where there's no jobs, there's no income, there's like desolation for these cities. Like, of course, they're gonna be like, oh, what am I gonna do? I need a quick escape. I'm gonna do heroin. So then it gets it to a social. You gotta socially change so that people can just have fun doing heroin. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you can have fun in that. That's a gamble.
I am not. No one should be doing heroin. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No, I talked to too many rock stars.
I don't want anyone doing heroin. Yeah. Heroin's not good. But do mushrooms. Mushrooms are fun.
Mushrooms, 100%. I've heard. Yeah, there's some benefit. There's some health benefits to the mushrooms for sure. Yeah. So let's talk about. I wouldn't normally bring this up, but you talk about it in like a lot of podcasts and other stuff, like body positivity and this kind of stuff. This is an issue. You had an interesting take on this. Like you're saying, Melissa McCarthy, she lost weight, and you said it's kind of like she abandoned the plus size people, like because she used to have a plus size clothing line, but now she doesn't anymore. And
yeah, I mean and it's the same with Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson's kind of done the same thing, and it's like it's not. No one's asking them to be the arbiters of body positivity, and also body positivity has kind of been corrupted. Because it was at first, it was a movement for people in larger bodies who were ostracized by society because of their larger bodies, and it was a movement to take back power and take back the ability to like yourself no matter what. And I think a better term for it now is body acceptance rather than body positivity, because now what it's been taken to is diet culture has co-opted it and is now using it to sell you diet products. So Weight Watchers is body positive now.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, they still want you to lose weight because else they don't exist as a company. And then there are, people in smaller bodies who have had thin privilege who tote body positivity and like I like my body no matter how it looks, but it's still a thin, accepted, privileged body that hasn't like been treated, they haven't been treated like shit because of the way they look. Like I've been treated differently when I go out with my friends who are in thinner bodies. And I've been in a thinner body and I've been in this size body, and I definitely notice a difference in the way I'm treated by people in general in society. Right?
In general, so not just like guys hitting on you and stuff, but just like if you go to like a restaurant or something. Or
I went and got a massage, and the woman after the massage like came up to me and was like, just so you know, if you want to lose weight, just stop eating. Just close your mouth. And I just paid this woman to give me a massage.
And does she want a tip for that?
Like thin-bodied people.
Yeah, that's freaking weird.
Or people are always like, oh, have you tried this? Like no one's like saying, I'm worried about your health to a thin-bodied person because they assume they're healthy because they're thin. But you have no idea that person could have cancer. That person could have diabetes. You don't know. But because people in larger bodies, we assume because of diet culture that everyone who's in a larger body is unhealthy, and then we say that they're costing the medical system. It's like it's all such bullshit to just sell you diet culture. And so I am a proponent of body acceptance. Not so much body positivity anymore, but just like getting to a point where you can accept your body and respect your body, because sometimes for a lot of us in larger bodies, loving your body is hard because every day you're told that your body is garbage and you need to change it. Well, so you just getting to a point where you like your body or accept your body is exactly the place you want to be.
Yeah, because like that's what they say. I mean, you're supposed to do that not just with your body, but just you're supposed to accept and love yourself. Like they say, like warts and all, like with all the flaws, like all the problems that you have, you're supposed to love yourself no matter what. Doesn't mean that you can't try to better yourself in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
Like, so
well, why does bettering yourself always have to be being in a smaller body?
Well, I don't know that it
That's the
does,
question.
but like I know, like Lena Dunham, you're a girls fan. Like I know she lost weight too, and she was praised so much because she did that show and she's doing nude scenes and stuff, and she's got a bigger body, and then she lost some weight, and then people got like mad at her. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but she also, well, here's the thing. She also, if you listen to her when she talks about that being at that smaller weight, she had an eating disorder. She was depressed. So that's the other thing is we praise these people for losing weight, but we actually don't know like how they're actually suffering. And we say, you know, it's like for anorexics, we look at like anorexics and we're like, they have too much self-control, but we praise them for being skinny. They just went too far.
Right.
But then we see someone with like a binge eating disorder or bulimia, and we say that they're greedy, that they have no self-control, that it's all their fault. Like
you could be
because they're in larger bodies.
You could be extreme either way, one way or the other, right? I mean, you could eat way too much, or you could eat, you could be restricting yourself too much, and that's not healthy either.
Yeah, but
it's more accepted, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the thing is, it's more accepted to be in the smaller body, and the idea that like when you say you want to better yourself or get healthy, it always is weight loss. It's never like I'm gonna get healthy, and someone's like, "Oh, cool, what are you gonna do?" And you're just like, "I'm just gonna like walk 10,000 steps every day, and eat more fruits and vegetables."
Yeah, but don't those things kind of go hand in hand? I mean, wouldn't you lose weight if you did those things?
No, not necessarily. Because okay, I'm getting into such a different venue, but this is like something I'm super passionate about.
Yeah, I know, and it's really interesting. I like hearing your opinions on it.
So there is this concept of body diversity. We are diverse in heights, right? We're diverse in looks. So why are we not diverse in weight? And like, if you look through history, you look through paintings, there's body diversity. There's people in larger bodies, and smaller bodies. And 400 years ago, they didn't have like processed sugar. Do you know what I mean? So we're sitting here blaming all this stuff, but it's like there is a concept of body diversity.
Absolutely.
I know from looking at my genes and my family, they tend to be on the larger scale, on the larger bodied people. So it would make sense that I probably genetically am predisposed to having a larger body, much like a lot of Eastern European bodies. Like even culturally, you can see where larger bodies are. Eastern European bodies are larger bodied. African American bodies are larger bodied. Like these are genetically larger bodies. And to deny that exists and that's part of it is feeding into this diet culture. And especially it also revolves around the ideal is the white cisgendered female thin ideal. Like that's the only form of beauty. That's what we all have to strive for. But that's like not
it's not even accurate though, because like you said, you're getting all these messages from guys watching Bad Santa too, so it's not even accurate. It's like maybe there's this ideal that,
but this is what it is it is the most unobtainable, because what, like maybe 4 or 5% of America actually has that body. So it's the least obtainable, which means that they can get the most money out of you to try to obtain that. And if it's unobtainable, 95% of diets will fail and you'll gain the weight back plus more. This is like, they've known this since the 1950s. They've done studies with this. They know that diets don't work, but the diet is the best way if they can convince you that it's your fault that it didn't work, not that the diet didn't work or that your body is predisposed to never have a diet work on it anyways. They can keep getting money from you like over and over and over.
Yeah, the yo-yo. Because the people lose gain. Yeah.
They're finding that yo-yo dieting is actually connected to things like diabetes and heart disease. It's not being fat. It's the fact that you keep fluctuating with these harmful diets and putting your body through starvation mode over and over and over again. That's causing your body to flip out and have like, you know, a diabetic reaction.
Right.
Oh, if you keep going up and down with insulin, your body's going to like eventually be like, I'm done.
That's bad.
Sorry, I got so off topic.
No, that was totally on topic.
Passionate about
That's very cool. No, it's interesting too,
I'm really
because
passionate about it, because there's so much, because it is like so much of our lives are based on this. Like, like everything in our lives is like getting to either the thin ideal, and it's even for dudes too. You guys are pushed what your ideal body type is and the way you should look and the way you should act, like the idea like of masculinity. I feel bad for guys sometimes because they're not allowed to like express emotion, right?
Yeah, no, I grew up like I was the skinny kid, but not like in a good way. Like I was like too skinny. So everyone just like shoved me around stuff. I was just like a toothpick. And that sucks too. It's like, and I couldn't gain weight. I tried so hard. I was eating so much food. I was like, I can't gain weight. So
that's just you are just genetically, it's that's like, your genetics, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. But because you're told to be muscular and to have a six pack and look this certain way, even if your body is never going to look like that, you are convinced that it's because you're not doing keto well enough, or you're not taking enough protein supplements, or you had that piece of cake at the birthday party. Now you fucked up everything.
I got the dad bod now.
Yeah.
What is?
Right, ask me about comedy.
No. Okay, so one more thing about the PC culture. Like, I feel like everything's changed names and stuff. So I've heard you call yourself a plus size bitch. You've called yourself a fat bitch, but I can't call you that. So what do you prefer? You know, it's like,
you can call me a fat bitch. It just depends on what do you say. But what's the term behind fat? Are you saying like if you were to call someone a tall bitch or a short bitch? Like,
I wouldn't call any woman a bitch unless we're really good friends and we're joking around and I'm fucking with you. Then yeah, I would. But what is the full figured, plus size, curvy? Like, what is the proper term?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're saying. Like, so the idea of the whole thing of fat is we've turned it into a derogatory term, and part of the fat acceptance movement is turning it back to like being a descriptor. So I can call myself fat the same way someone who is queer can call themselves queer, even though queer used to be a derogatory term, right? So they're taking it back. It's now a describing word of just describing your sexuality and gender identity, right? So, but if you're calling me fat to be like, you like to shut down my opinions or invalidate me or see me as worthless, then I'd rather you not call me fat.
Right. So it's all about the intent. That's what I always say too with everything, all this stuff. Okay, cool. Let's talk.
Yeah. I mean, you still shouldn't, like, a lot of people who are in larger bodies, I say larger bodied because
you've said that a lot. Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, it's a more neutral term.
Okay.
But a lot of larger bodied people, it's too radical to think like this, because to give up the idea that like you could be thin is to basically give up the promise of like love and acceptance and everything.
Can't we all just get along and love everybody?
No, because there's no money in that.
Ah, damn it.
There's no money in that. There's no money in any of us getting along. There's no money in us agreeing politically on anything. There's no money in any of that.
You know what? There's money in. Now I'm getting on topic and off topic, but food. Let's talk. I know this is a good transition into
I love
food.
food.
You love food. You know, you mentioned racks. I heard you talk about racks on a podcast.
Oh, racks, like the
are they still around?
Place?
Yes.
No.
They had one in Seattle. We used to go every weekend. We'd go there. What did you get at Racks? Did you ever get the milkshakes?
I was like 4 when I went to Racks, but I remember going to Racks because it was across from this really creepy amusement park in Burnsville that I can't find like any. I can't find like I found one YouTube clip of it from like 2000, but it was really creepy and old. But across the street from it was a Racks, and we would go and get roast beef sandwiches. What
are your other guilty pleasures? I heard you say you like croissants and
Let me think. Okay. There's no guilt in food because food has no morality.
Okay. Fair enough.
So any food is good food.
Okay.
Any food.
So what are your favorite foods?
But the foods that I enjoy the most.
Okay.
Okay. Right now I'm really digging. There's these birthday cake Oreos that I have.
Oh, somebody left some of those at my house.
They're so good.
Okay.
They're so good. People shit on the blonde Oreos, but I'm telling you, they're superior, because sometimes you're just like the chocolate is too chalky and you don't want it.
Yeah.
You want like a blonde Oreo.
Okay. Oreos
with birthday cake taste in it. So I've been loving that. And then, the other thing is I dated this guy and he used to always get chicken pesto sandwiches, and I used to make fun of him for it. So I was like, chicken pesto, how boring.
That is random.
And now I am like living on chicken pesto. I live on it. I love it so much. I make chicken pesto sandwiches for myself I even texted him and I said, I'm so sorry I ever doubted you. 'Cause you were right. Chicken pesto sandwiches.
I don't even know where you would get that. I've never seen that. Is that an Italian thing?
All you need is a sandwich.
Okay.
Some pesto, some mozzarella, tomatoes, and chicken. And then you just put that on, you toast it.
Is there a lot
So
of
good.
do you do a lot of Italian dishes because your dad's Italian? Does he make a lot of No? But you went through a phase where you wanted to be in the Mafia.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Because you're so I'm having a hard time.
Al Pacino.
I'm having a hard time picturing you in the Mafia. Like, what would you have done? Would you have been one of those wives that's like totally oblivious that her husband's in the Mafia?
I would have
like
been the queen. I would have been the queen of it. I would have been the leader of the mob.
Really?
I would have a harem of dudes waiting for me.
That would be
power. Everyone wants power.
You should write that movie.
Right?
That would be a hit right now.
I could. Currently, I'm writing one about ghost hunting.
Oh, really? And it's comedy?
Yeah, that's more important to me.
That sounds funny. That sounds original too. I don't think they've made that movie yet, have they?
Well, it's a TV show.
Oh.
And there are a couple TV shows about ghost hunting, but they all have men in them. That's the problem.
Oh. But then those are all
female ghost hunting.
And they're all serious, right? This is become more like a spoof then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What other plans do you have in the works?
So today what I'll do is I'll write a little bit and then I'll take some photos for my Etsy store. During quarantine, I've been flipping antique furniture. So I love doing that and flipping antique clothing.
What do you use for that? Craigslist or the Etsy?
No, Etsy.
You use Etsy, okay.
Yeah. So I've been doing that and then I have therapy at 3:15.
Is that via Zoom or is that in real life?
Yeah, via Zoom.
Okay. Nice. And I know that you did some traveling. You've been to Russia and Iceland. That's pretty cool. Is there anywhere that you want to travel that you haven't traveled to yet? I mean, obviously you can't travel now, but like what's on your bucket list?
Been to let me think. I'd like to go to Thailand. I only went to Japan. Is the only like Asian country I've been to. I've been to a lot of European countries. I love Europe. I think Senegal looked cool. I saw some photos of Senegal. In Egypt. I'd love to go to Egypt.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun to see the pyramids.
Or go to Argentina and check out the Patagonian mountains.
Wow, those are some cool. That's a cool list right there. Wow, I haven't even been to Europe, so I gotta crush that.
You gotta get out there.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
I'm in Arizona. I'm in Phoenix.
Oh yeah, you gotta get out of here.
Do you ever come down here and do shows?
I used to have a antique booth in Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah,
Where?
it lasted for about 3 months, and then my friend and I stopped paying the rent on it.
Oh, whoops.
So.
Oh. Do you ever do a show here at comedy clubs?
It's
a pretty short drive.
Oh. I used to.
Not anymore?
That's for a conversation off topic.
Oh, off air?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. We have to tell me about that later then. Yeah. Or I'll come and see you. You're in LA, right?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'll come and see.
Phoenix is open. I actually was thinking about taking a trip to Phoenix because you guys have such great antiques in your thrift shop.
We have good. I didn't know that.
You guys have great because all the old people die. It's the best. You guys have all your snowbirds die, and then they just put the stuff to Goodwill. It's the best place to go.
It's a way to spin that into a positive there. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very cool. I'd like to end with a charity. Is there a charity that you work with or a nonprofit or something that you want to give a shout out to before we wrap this up?
I didn't think about this.
Oh, really? Is there something with body positivity that you work with that helps young women or something?
I would really like to help, actually, a shout out to a charity that would probably do, let me Google this. Let's see.
Yeah, we got time. No rush. Except for your therapy's coming up here. But
I know. I do have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say you guys should be giving money to your local food banks right now.
They could definitely use it.
There's like the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, but right now everyone's really suffering. And
for sure. Well, we did get that $600 though. Don't worry.
Wow, I can't wait to give it to creditors.
That's where mine's going too. Fun.
Ugh.
Good
Yeah.
times.
So give money to your local food banks because there are a lot of people who had never thought they would be need food banks are now, because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Or people that were fully and gainfully employed and had regular lives and here we are.
Well, hopefully we get back on track because I'm seeing a lot of my nurse friends are already getting the vaccine, so it's making the rounds.
That's good.
Yeah. Have you not seen anybody doing it?
I mean, just seeing like shitty politicians getting it.
There's a lot of those.
Deserve it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, awesome. Well, thank you. This was fun. I like chatting with you. Everybody should
Thanks
go
for having me.
on your website and follow you on social media.
And that Jenny Zigrino on everything.
Yeah, and you got funny stuff, good clips on YouTube and Instagram for sure. So I look forward to more. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
I hope that I educated you on on bodies and weight stigma.
Yes, I feel very woke. Is that the right word?
Yes, you should be woke.
I am woke.
You got to tell me what happens to us when we die.
Yes, I will. Yeah, once I finish the book.
What is he just? This is like a hobby.
He's like a financial advisor his whole year, and then he retired. This is like his hobby. Yeah, this is his hobby. He's like he does all this research on just all sorts of stuff. I think he kind of wants to be like Indiana Jones. Like he wants to like go into like find these like artifacts and the mysteries of life. So yeah, it'll be fun.
I wish my dad was doing that. My dad just like watches Catholic TV all day and tells me that I should find a husband and quit my job.
Oh, so I didn't know your dad's Catholic.
He's like super Catholic.
Okay, yeah, Irish Catholic family. So
he just listens to Gregorian chants all day.
Well,
that's his.
Okay.
You know how like you and I might listen to like smooth jazz or like ambient funk noise. He listens to Gregorian chants.
All right. Well, to each their own. Sounds like quite a character. Well, it was nice chatting with you. Good luck with your
see you later.
rest. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Jenny Zigrino. So fun to talk to. Very down to earth. Funny, but also smart. She made me think a lot. I feel like I learned a lot by talking to her, not only about her and her life, but some of these issues like body positivity. Very interesting stuff. Would be fun to see her obviously do stand-up live as well. And I hope that can happen soon. Make sure to check out Jenny's website. Follow her on social media to keep up with her career. I'm excited to see that ghost hunting show if it happens. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure to check out some of the other episodes I've got. I've had comedians on here, musicians, all sorts of great stuff. You can subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes, or follow me on social media and I'll keep you updated there too. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, shoot for the moon.